Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekend contemplation for this weekend. So, this weekend, before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the new moon that is in Cancer. And so, what this is a beautiful time for is, of course, intention setting. But what we want to do is we really want to pay attention to our feelings because our feelings are going to help us to really manifest those intentions a lot faster. And so we can look at good morning, Shirley. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. We can look at the teachings of Abraham, and Abraham talks about rockets of intention. And so the universe is always going to respond to the rockets of intention that are most, that have the most emotional energy behind them. And so that's what we want to do. Just getting a little closer here to see the name. Hello, Tanya. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. It's very small print. So we want to pay attention to that. We want to pay attention to those emotions. We don't want to just play lip service to our intentions, which we're really good at doing. We play lip service to our intentions all too often. Oh, I intend to do this, and I intend to experience this, and so forth and so on. And when we do that, those may be great intentions. We may be, excited about them, but the rocket of intention that's going to take flight or that's going to manifest is the one that we're putting more emotional energy behind. And perhaps you're saying, I intend to win the lottery, but there's a rocket of intention within you that you're also sending out that's saying, I'm not worthy. I can't do that. It's impossible. And that has a lot more weight. That has a lot more emotional energy behind it. And so that's the reality, or that's the rocket that the universe is going to pay more attention to, because that's the one that has more emotional energy. That's the one you're focusing more on, either consciously or subconsciously. And so that's why when we're setting our intentions today, this evening, in this moment, we want to pay attention to our emotions. How do we feel about that intention? And if we don't feel good about it, that's okay. You can think of other words, other symbols to assist you in getting to that place. If you're not there, don't try to force yourself to get there. You can take little bite-sized steps towards that. So maybe you want to win the lottery. Okay, great, but you don't feel like you're worthy. So we need to work on our worthiness. Maybe you want to go on a trip, but you don't have the financial stability in which to do so. Okay, then we need to work on, financial abundance and the way we feel about it. So that's just a little excerpt I wanted to talk about before we got into the weekend contemplation. Now, I've already chosen a card for this week, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It goes perfectly with the new moon. And the card is embarking on an adventure. I savor the wonder of the world. So it's a beautiful, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's very glary. I apologize for that. But it's this beautiful picture of a balloon going over several different landscapes. And so the questions that we can ask ourselves are, what is the best adventure for me to take at this time? We can ask ourselves, what has kept me from seeking this in the past? What future adventure do I desire? And once again, I think, like I said, I think it goes perfectly with the new moon in Cancer, because we really want to pay attention to our feelings. Okay, I want to go on an adventure. Okay, great, wonderful. How do I really feel about going on an adventure? Where do I want to go on an adventure? Do I feel like I can go on the adventure? Do I feel like I'm ready for the adventure? And just really paying attention to those thoughts and beliefs that rise up. I think a lot of the times we think that, when negative thoughts arise, or when negative thoughts or negative belief patterns rise up, I think we get this tendency to like judge ourselves and be like, oh my God, I'm such a terrible person, or why haven't I got over this? And we start to judge ourselves. And when those beliefs come up, when those ideas come up, it's not a punishment. You're not bad. You're not a terrible person. You simply have this belief, and that's okay. It's coming up so that it can be healed. And it's not healed by you and you alone. That's another big issue that a lot of us have. We think we're the healers, that we have to do all of this work. And I was actually watching Marianne Williamson, who I absolutely love and adore. And she said something that I really have taken to heart. And it's something I've heard her say before. When you are a conduit for the divine, it takes a lot of pressure off of you, because it's no longer up to you to figure everything out, to do it all on your own. You now have this beautiful divine energy that is constantly with you, flowing for you, flowing through you, if you will allow it. It is when we start to focus on our own power, our own strength, and saying, well, this is all I have, then yes, we have every need to worry, because our strength is finite. Our strength is not infinite. Our knowledge is not infinite. But what is that divine force that flows through us if we allow it. So yes, is there going to be a part that you play? Yes, the part that you play is the acknowledgement. Okay, I acknowledge this is a negative belief. I acknowledge that I held a value for it from the past, and I've kind of just been carrying it around with me because I believed that it was still valuable. But I now see that it holds no value for me, which means I no longer want it, which means I no longer desire it, because you wouldn't keep a broken light bulb in your house if it didn't work. You wouldn't keep it. And so that's the same thing we're doing with our thoughts, our beliefs, our intentions. So really, really pay attention to how you feel about your intentions when you say them, when you think of them. Are you happy? Are you joyful? Does it feel good? If it doesn't, that's okay. Simply recognize it doesn't feel good. Ask yourself, why doesn't this feel good? Why doesn't that feel good to me? Why doesn't it feel like that can be a reality to me? Ask yourself the question. Because if you don't ask the question, how are you ever going to get the answer? You can't get an answer if you don't ask the question. So that's why we do these weekend contemplations, to really ask ourselves these questions, to really dig a little bit deeper than we normally have. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. And don't forget to come back on Monday for our Monday mantra.